Good morning, YouTube. A couple of weeks ago, we covered the first ever public auction sale of a Cybertruck, $244,000. And since the floodgates have opened, people don't seem to be scared about getting sued, but they probably should. And that's why we have an expert here in Tesla and their foibles. Uncle Rich of Rich Rebuilds.
How's it going? I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming to Kansas.
I was told that we wouldn't be discussing Tesla topics today.
No one watches. You're good.
But here I am.
Well, because you've completely moved on in your YouTube channel, Rich Rebuilds, from Tesla, where that was basically the foundation of your channel. But now you're doing pretty much anything and everything, right?
Everything I can to stay relevant, yes.
And that's what brought you to Kansas. John Ross is in the corner for some weird thing, right?
Exactly, yeah. So Kansas normally isn't on my top of places to visit.
Oh, no.
But crazy, right? I know. I figured, you know what? There's a lot of good talent here. I want to see what Kansas has to offer because I'm considering moving.
Right.
My
What?
local area. Yes, I am. Yes.
Kansas is on your list?
Join the Kansas YouTube Mafia.
No way.
Yeah.
It is now, yes.
Did they pay you to say that? Is this a real thing?
Someone paid me. Not in this room.
We moved her to Kansas, and now she's
moved here.
Where did you
YouTubing.
move from?
I moved from Chicago, so very similar.
To Kansas?
Very
Why?
similar to Kansas. Because of this, right here.
I live next door. I would too.
Well, yeah, don't try to take them from me if you're out here.
Well, you never know.
But Rich, you've been doing it about as long as I have, I suppose. And
You know what? I actually watched you. I watched you. Like when I was, but before I think you've been doing it longer than I have. Because I've been watching you, do your ridiculous car things for quite some time now. And I figured, you know what? I can do that too.
way better. Yes.
And then I kind of started doing it. I mean, not as successful, but it's still pretty
Now
decent.
you're doing pretty well. I think 1.4 million subscribers. I mean, right
all right.
about where I am, and
Doing all right.
plenty of viral videos. I think your second highest viewed one is me on my knees begging you to help me with that
Yes.
Tesla,
Yes.
that Model S where the
Yes.
battery bricked itself.
That was a great one, actually. That was a great thumbnail. Thank you for that.
So are you
People
still?
thought you would be in the video more, so I think that's why I did so well. Like,
Oh.
a Tyler video, great, and then you weren't.
Well, I have been in some of your other videos. I think kicking you out of Amelia Island was
Yes.
one where
We should talk
that looked
about that.
really
What?
bad.
You
Yeah.
kicked him out?
Well, he asked if we would carry him out of Amelia Island because you call it like the white people convention, I think, the
It was
Concord.
the Caucasus Mountain region.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing with that is they actually. So I never went back. Did you go?
I've been back a few times, but no,
Understood. Yeah,
not
I think,
this year.
I think after that, I wasn't invited back. They actually asked me to apologize. I'm dead serious. They did. Yeah.
You didn't, right?
Well, I didn't.
No, man,
No way.
I
No.
didn't think about how it looked until I actually watched it on video because you just said, "Hey, could you pick me up and carry me and throw me out of the
Right.
Amelia Island
Could you
Concord?"
please, you and your white friends, can you throw the only African American out of the event?
And we're all
please?
wearing the same Amelia Island uniforms, and I do an extra little kick as you're thrown on the ground, and
Right.
then
Actually, very convincing kid, actually.
and
yeah.
well,
Yeah. Well, that didn't land well with everyone, did it?
no. But people who get your humor, obviously, well,
Right. Some
understood.
did. Actually, yeah, people messaged me and said, "I can't believe that. He's so racist."
Right.
Like, yeah.
Well, the
encouraging
redemption.
Do something.
The redemption was to get back together with you to help me fix the Tesla, which at 10 years old, not even 100,000 miles, the
Yeah.
battery just bricked. Are you still involved with the outfit that repairs those batteries?
You know what? That's a long story. So for those Tesla batteries, what Tesla started doing was they actually started lowering the price of Model 3s and Model Ys, and there was a program where you could actually just trade in your old Tesla and you would get free supercharging towards a new one. So people just said to themselves, instead of spending $16,000 to $20,000 to repair this car, I'm just going to put it towards a new one. And then since then, there have been tons of brick Teslas just kind of sitting there. Third-party people buy them, take the batteries out, take them out, and use them for like solar or battery storage of some sort.
Right, because now, like an early Model S, you can see them with brick batteries for $3,000-$5,000 everywhere.
$5,000, exactly. Yeah. So some people that are pretty clever, they could actually go in and repair them. They'll pull the battery out, find the brick that's showing low voltage. They'll either put a new one in and rebalance it, or they'll just snip the sense wires so that you'll get less range out of it. But now there's new technology that you can go in using software to do it directly.
Of course.
So instead of having like 200 miles of range,
Right.
you could software lock it to like 125 and still have a working car for like $3,000.
So do you have to be like a computer engineer to work on electric cars?
Not anymore, because the software has become so available to the masses that like a lot of people can do it. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
Right.
it's pretty.
What got you into electric cars? Like that's your sole specialty, right?
You know, that's a.
It was,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was. I was never into electric cars. I was never really formally trained on anything automotive.
Right.
What drove me to Tesla was my cheapness. I was very
Okay.
cheap. So I wanted one, but
Right.
at the time, I think they were like $100 grand.
Right.
And like I was like I worked in IT. I was like a level 1 help desk specialist. And when you're a level 1 help desk specialist, you have dreams of being able to buy things like food.
Right. That's
So
important.
in the Northeast,
Yeah.
everything's expensive. So I said, there's a $100,000 car. I work in tech. I want this latest tech.
Right.
So I couldn't afford the latest tech because 6 figures is a lot. And basically, I just found a salvage one that needed work, and I took a risk. I bought it.
That's how I found you, was going through the process of trying to revive a salvage Tesla, a flooded Tesla, I believe, at one point, and all the hurdles that Tesla put in front of you to get it done. Like, it was ridiculous, the right to repair stuff and everything else. And also, I know that you had some issues with Tesla with referrals. You were supposed to get a free car and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, people are thinking that they're Cybertrucks. They can flip them. They sign the contract saying they'll get sued by Tesla for 50 grand or more if they flip them, and they're ignoring it, saying, "Oh, there's no way Tesla's going to chase them. They're not petty. They won't do that kind of stuff." Well, what happened to Rich?
Yes.
They will.
They are.
They'll come after
There's
you.
somebody there with too much time on their hands that is going to make their lives miserable
They'll
because
check each one and say, "Oh, what's your name? Nope, you're not going to get it. No, you're not going to get it." The interesting thing about it is that Tesla, now that they're going after people, again, we're not really sure if that's going to hold up. Or
Right.
not. I don't think Tesla has successfully extracted money from someone as yet. But the interesting part about Tesla is that they know they're for reselling. So when a single person, named Bobby Smith, pre-orders 36 Cybertrucks, it's like, well, what do you think Bobby Smith is going to do with those? He's probably going to buy some, and then he's going to resell the others.
Right.
So they know that, but I think they're waiting until... Personally, I think a lot of that was so that it would help inflate the numbers so that they could actually show these are how many reservations we have. And then once they catch wind that, Bobby Smith is trying to resell them, they'll come down and say, okay, where's my money now?
So far, all they've done is take away the ability for people to order more Teslas, kind of blackball people who are advertising them for sale and threatening them. But yeah, nothing legal yet. But what are some of the crazy things that Tesla has done to you? I think, you should have a Tesla Roadster order, right?
I should. Well, you know what? I think things were different back then. During the Tesla Roadster craze, that was when we all thought that the car was going to exist within 2 years. It did not. So with the Tesla Roadster issue, Tesla had a referral program, right? What they would do is, depending on how many cars you'd help sell, they would say, hey, you know what? If you sell 50 cars, you can get a free Tesla Roadster, which is a $250,000 car.
Right.
Awesome. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So, even though people thought my videos were a little polarizing, like, well, what's going on with this guy here? It did help sell a lot of their vehicles. So I got to the point where I got, the free wheels and tires.
Right.
I got the free, kids' cars. And I worked my way up until about 80 or 90% off the Tesla Roadster.
Right.
So this was by using a referral code. So he would put a plug in his video or use my referral code when you buy the Tesla.
Right.
And obviously all his videos about it got people interested in buying them.
Right.
So you got to the 50, right?
Right,
And the referral
got the
codes?
50, and then I said, awesome. And then I got a notice that's, I checked my account and it said, you don't have any referrals. And I was like, that seems strange. I thought I got to this super high level where I could just, I get a free Roadster and I meet Elon or something. It's like the next level. Turns out they said, we've removed your referral program.
What?
Because, and they said they could remove it for any reason in the clause. That, your videos were in bad taste or they were annoying. They actually said the word annoying.
They typed
Who
that
said
word.
annoying?
Annoying. No, it was in the word. Like, either they're in bad taste, annoying, or damaging towards the company.
And
But
what's your opinion? Do you completely disagree?
hear me out. If my videos were so terrible,
Right.
why are so many sold?
Exactly.
Isn't the point to sell the cars?
Absolutely.
So if I was so negative, it should be zero, technically.
So
right?
they're looking for that loophole, and they have enough money where they don't need to worry about that.
It doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, your criticisms weren't of the product as much as the support for, hey, give me the ability to fix this, please. Which is a very valid argument to make, and since I think they have loosened up quite a bit.
They absolutely have, yeah. A lot of the things that, I don't want to say it was me, but it was me. I'm just kidding. No, it was, so there was a lot of things that a lot of people worked on to say, hey, listen, right to repair, we have to push this. And as a result, they've loosened up a lot of their grip. Like they have service tools now.
Right.
People that actually go in and diagnose their cars. It isn't the easiest thing in the world, but it's definitely getting a lot better
Right.
than it was like 5-6 years ago.
Right.
For
I mean, working on Teslas
Right.
for as long as you have, what would you say is their biggest flaw? Now, I feel like you're going to get even more trouble now if you just put that on Front
well,
Street.
I don't even make
But
Tesla
you've
videos
seen
anymore, really.
so many of them, worked on so many
Right.
of them. Like, where do they need to improve? Because a lot of people are buying them and kind of jumping off the bandwagon.
So we, as part of the whole, I want to build a Tesla thing, in that process, I actually spun up a company with myself and two of my friends that services and repair
Right.
classes. They're called, it's called Let's Ride Garage. So we have two locations, one in Florida, one in Massachusetts. And the most common things that we see with the Teslas are a lot of suspension issues, especially in the Northeast. The cars are heavy. There's a lot of salt on the roads. And because Teslas use regenerative braking,
Right.
they don't use the actual physical, hydraulic brakes. A lot of the components rust and they corrode.
Right.
So a lot of suspension things, we're replacing suspension left and right. And even though electric motors have a lot less moving parts than their gas counterparts, there's a lot of bearing issues within the electric motors that have to be replaced.
Right.
In order to fix that, Tesla doesn't really get into nitty-gritty of replacing the parts on the inside. They just give them a reman unit.
Right.
And a reman unit can be fine. If you paid, let's just say, $10,000 for a Tesla and you think you're ahead of the game, then you hear a grinding noise and you bring it to Tesla and they're like, JK, it's going to cost you another $6,000, which is 60% of what you paid for the car.
Right.
So we get a lot of those as well. What we do is we take out the motor itself, repair the bearing in the center, and put it back in.
Right.
So we do a lot of low-cost repairs because the prices of these cars are falling by
Right.
an insane margin. You figured, a Model 3, a performance Model 3 back in the day was a 60,000 plus car, which is ridiculous because I think they're just whatever commuter cars. But now you can get one for probably like 30s,
Right.
low 30s.
Now, do you feel
high
like this
20s.
craze of electric vehicles is actually going to dominate the world, or are we going to see a lot more pushback and maybe it'll fail?
That's a good question. I don't think the electric vehicles themselves are going to fail. A long time ago in a kingdom far away, the first vehicles that they were
Right.
essentially electric, right? So now I think we're going through a transition period where the market is pretty heavily saturated with a certain brand, like Tesla, for example. I mean, Tesla, they're the #1 EV manufacturer.
Right.
They have, I think, as of right now, well over 3 million on the road, probably 4 million. And I think that people that have purchased Teslas, the ones that want to be early adopters, the ones that want to try things out, sales are starting to go, okay, I think we get this now. And now other manufacturers like Rivian, you have the Ford Lightnings, Kia's doing a great job with a bunch of new models. I think they're slowly starting to peck away at that share.
Right.
But I think there's going to be a point where all of the people that want electric cars
Right.
are going to have them, and then the growth is going to slow down a little bit. Just my opinion.
Yeah, but you're an expert in this
Yeah,
field,
an
and
expert,
you
yeah.
just
Well-
named a bunch of cars. What would you recommend someone to buy?
He's trying to move on, and we keep dragging it
Yeah, I
back to
know.
electric
This is the
cars.
thing. In terms of electric vehicles, when someone asks me what electric car they should get, I always say Tesla, and here's why. Because I don't want to hear anything else. It's the easiest thing to
Right,
recommend.
right.
Buy a Model 3, shut up.
Right.
Don't ask me anything else,
That's
please.
it.
For a person that is a little bit more educated, or someone does not want to buy a Tesla for whatever reason, they don't like Elon,
Sure.
whoever, they stole his wife, whatever. So I recommend other things depending on who it is.
Sure.
Do you want to be just like everyone else? Do you just want an electric car?
Right.
Buy a Tesla.
Right.
If you want to blend into the traffic, you don't want to rock the boat. You just like, as I say, you like missionary style, every day. Mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, comfort
Right,
food. You buy a
right.
Tesla. If you want to spice it up,
Ooh,
maybe
okay.
switch positions a little bit.
Whoa.
You want a little pickup truck style.
Yeah.
Get a Rivian.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We get one of those.
See, but I have a Cybertruck coming, so
Oh, so you're a little exhibitionist.
I guess so. I don't
That's
know.
so true.
in public. Yeah.
But it feels so stupid paying $100,000 for it. But
It's kind of ridiculous.
it's I.
I think the Cybertruck is interesting. I think the Cybertruck is for a very specific market of person. I think it's for a person that wants to be seen and like wants to show off in a way.
I get you.
Because there's some cars.
Right.
Compensating.
There's some cars where you want to be seen.
So do you think Tyler's compensating
But he
for
doesn't
something?
want a Cybertruck though.
Okay.
I don't think you really do compensate for stuff. You don't have any big diesel trucks, do you? You don't have any,
The
right?
Raptor and the Cummins
Oh.
and the yeah.
There's a little bit.
Yeah,
There's
just-
a little bit.
I mean, well, those were gifts, right? Those were.
No, I
gifted
bought
to you.
them. I bought them.
So you went and
yeah,
purchased.
I
you
picked
put
them
the
out.
buy
Yes.
list. Oh, okay, all right. And
Yeah.
you only have one truck though, right?
3 or 4. Yeah.
Okay. Are they like big, the little trucks?
They're pretty big. Yeah.
They're not lifted. They're
Yeah,
not
one is,
massively
yeah.
lifted.
Okay.
Not
Are
massively
they,
lifted.
are they higher than average? Yeah.
No,
For
apparently
the
not.
Cybertruck, right?
Right,
So the
right.
Cybertruck, I feel like it's a person that they want to be seen.
Yes.
And they want to attract like a hey, look at me type of
Right.
thing.
Of course.
And they don't have the money to buy a supercar because
Right.
supercars normally are hey, look at me cars.
Exactly.
I'm young, I'm sexy,
Right.
I still got it. You know, you take off your wedding ring, you drive around.
Well, that's what you've
And then-
moved on. You're on a Porsche 911 now, right? A turbo S991. Yeah.
991.1, and then I have a McLaren 720.
I got to ask you,
Yeah.
you worked with the one and only Robert Downing Jr.
Yes,
on a
yes.
fantastic show.
Thank you.
If you haven't seen it, it's incredible. Tell me about
Thank
that
you.
experience.
Downey's dream cars, right?
How did you get
Mhm.
hired for that?
That's a good question. It was by accident. There was I was called in. They said, "Hey, listen, there's an A-list celebrity that wants a subject matter expert on electric cars to educate them."
Right.
And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll find you someone because that's not me, right?" And then I actually literally called someone else, and they were like, "Well, who is it?" I'm like, "Well, I don't really know," and that they couldn't tell me. I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll show up and I'll do this." So they didn't tell me who it was, and they actually called me to go to New York. I signed an NDA,
Right?
and like he was literally there.
Right.
He goes, "Hey, you're a subject matter expert, and you have to talk to him on like a panel about electric vehicles." I'm like, "Well, this is nerve-wracking."
Yeah.
And then it slowly migrated to.
So they hadn't watched your videos in the last couple of years, I guess.
Thank God they haven't. And so I went there, and they said, "Okay, well, this is great and everything. We have a company that's going to build these electric cars. Can you just give them general guidance about how to build a custom car for Robert?" I said, "Okay, I can do that." And I said, "Well, you know what? I have a company too, and we do that stuff."
Right.
And they were like, "Well, you do it." Like literally that day, they're like,
What?
"We want you guys to do it."
What?
So it was. So I called my business partner. I was like, "Hey, something just crazy happened. Like we could build electric cars for people, right?" They're like, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "Well, you know, Robert Downey Jr. wants one built," and he's just froze.
Right.
There's no way. Iron
Now,
Man?
on his build, was that completely his idea, or was that something that you guys did together?
So he had cars that were pre-existing. He had a Chevy K10 pickup truck, and he also had a one of his old classic Corvettes. Those cars already existed. They both meant, you know, the world to him
Right.
because they kind of commemorate different parts of his life. So when those cars came in, the goal was to make them green and sustainable. So the entire interior of the Corvette, it went from being like leather to mushroom composite.
Right.
He had a mushrooms.
That-
Yeah, I
It's-
remember that.
yeah,
That
And he
is
did all
so
matte
cool.
finishes with them,
Matte
right?
finishes, yeah. So it was this satin colors, which I love satin colors. It was really, really, really interesting. Some of the designs, I'm like, okay,
Right.
I wouldn't have done it that way,
Right.
but I could appreciate the
Yeah, the Mercedes that was biodiesel with the different
gray-
trim colors.
that was a little bit,
Ugh,
yeah.
That was, but
I
it's
didn't fully
cool. I
agree.
mean, obviously, a passion project for him. He could do whatever he wants, and he chose to do that show. And obviously, you know, Robert Downey Jr. shows up and says, "I want to do a car show." They're like,
Right.
Yeah,
Of course.
Let's do the
What
car
was he
show.
like
Right.
though? Was he like cool, or was he like, "I'm a movie star, don't shake my hand because I don't want your germs"?
You know what's weird? He was super outgoing.
Yeah.
Super energetic. He wasn't standoffish.
Right.
He gave me his phone number, which was bizarre. I'm like, I'm not
Ooh.
going to call you.
Right.
Like it was
we
weird.
want to call him right now, see if he answers, just out of curiosity.
He might. So it was probably, you know what would be the most embarrassing thing? It was a fake number.
Oh,
Yes,
right.
That'd be
that would
devastating.
be.
Like
Light on air?
That's
the old
right.
hotline,
switch.
rejection hotline,
Seriously.
where the girl would hang out the number that's the
Yeah.
rejection hotline.
Seriously, yeah, that
I got
could be
that
it.
once.
It's-
Yeah, that
yeah.
was,
Did
that
you?
was- oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did. Hmm.
If someone's building a Resto-mod right now, do you think that they just need to make it electric? Is that where it's going, or is it a waste of money? Is this the big question everyone asks
Like if you were to do your dream build of a Resto-mod, would it be that, or would you do that for flipping, or what would?
It would not be electric. Here's the reason why. I know that a lot of people are going to push their glass and say, "Oh, actually," and freak out in the comment section.
Right.
Here's the issue with electric vehicles. Electric vehicles are mostly technology. It's all tech. Here's what happens to when you have a technology that ages after a while. It becomes dated. So, for example, when you have a C5 Corvette, like a Callaway, or like a Z06, that car makes 405 horsepower back in like 1996, and it'll make it now. The
Right.
interior's dated, that's fine. The buttons still work, it still makes that power. When you have something that revolves so heavily around technology, it becomes instantaneously dated. For example, when was the last time you used a laptop that was 10 years old?
Right. Or the Nokia brick phone.
So what happens is
Right.
the reason why a lot of the older Teslas, when they were new, they were 100 grand. The older Teslas, they were new, they're 100 grand. Now they're 10. Because you know why? People don't really care about getting 197 miles of range anymore. The new standard is 3, 4,
But
and
Elon
500.
said they would never depreciate. I'm going to lose my Cybertruck order now. But yeah, I
have
think
that.
you're right,
So, yeah.
because like even like the older custom builds where they were using LT1s and sort of like that 20 years ago, the Boyd Connington Chip Foose kind of big chrome wheels that's sort of fallen out of fashion. And you see those come through, sell at auction, they would have been hot stuff
Right.
a long time ago. I guess it would be even worse if it was like technology where 10 years from now, who knows where
You could
batteries going
swap
to be.
wheels out in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It
So
just
that's not
doesn't
going to
make
happen
any
with
sense.
this first year Cybertruck either then? You don't think they'll be collectible at all? They'll just be dead bricks?
They very well might be. Well, it depends on how mass produced they are.
Right.
Are the first Teslas, Model S's that came out worth anything? Not really. You know, the Cybertruck is a groundbreaking and striking design. Will it hold up to the test of time? Is this just a fad? After all the the tech nerds get them and you see them everywhere, is it going to die down quicker? I think it's starting to. Hear me out. They haven't really rolled out to everyone yet, but this is the first new car from Tesla in quite some time. Everyone is making Tesla Cybertruck content as quickly as humanly possible.
That's right, yeah.
And the rate of consumption isn't really surpassing the amount of content.
Right.
The second anyone gets a Cybertruck right now,
Right.
the camera comes out, "Hey guys, just bought a Cybertruck," and it's like taken from the overall pool.
So I ordered mine
Oh,
like the night of the launch where he's, throwing the ball and breaking
Yeah.
the glass. And then
Yay.
4 years later, I get to configure December 29th. They say January to March delivery. We are in March and there's no truck yet. Maybe there's somebody that thinks that my videos are, what would they call your videos?
annoying.
Annoying. And maybe that's why I'm not getting one. But yeah, I'm very proud of you. And it's really cool to see your pivot away. It's still your style, still absolutely hilarious, but you completely moved on from the genre that basically built your channel. And I'm scared to do that because I just buy the cheapest thing in the USA, do the same thing over and over again, and haven't done much different. So I'm very envious of your ability to do that and have this
Thank you.
next act in your YouTube channel. And so what are you building right now?
No, I don't have real.
You're just destroying something with John Ross, right? That's the video coming out soon?
Breaking stuff. The hardest thing was switching from EV to gas stuff because a lot of people were disappointed.
Did you lose a lot of subscribers when that happened?
I think so.
I slowly transitioned into it. So I started with Teslas, right?
Right.
Teslas, these are pretty cool, right? Then I did a BMW i8, which is a hybrid. It's like, oh look, it's sexy. But
Right.
There's still a little electric in there.
The best of both
And
worlds.
then I just
okay.
went Audi RS7. You know what I mean? But I was like, it has an alternator and a battery. It's
Like
kind of the same thing.
Uppercut with Audi,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was uppercut. But I'll tell you,
I didn't think that was an uppercut. I thought that was something else.
that
Never
was
mind.
yeah.
You don't need a Cybertruck.
Yeah, no.
got
Well, on that note,
Yeah.
my mind is a terrible place. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Rich, so much
Awesome.
for coming out.
Thanks for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you.
Thanks.